welcome to the Cambridge Power Platform User Group's summer event. For those of you joining us live, hi, please join in. Please join us in the chat to ask the speakers questions. For those online watching this after the event, hey, great to see you and glad you could come along, even if it wasn't at the event time itself. Hopefully we've got loads of content for you today. We've got some fantastic speakers. Let me just show you who those are. So coming up, we've got brothers for the first time. It's a bit of a family affair today. So we've got Renato and we've got Douglas, who are coming along to share their various different perspectives about AI. So transforming business operations with Copilot Studio and AI Builder, and then leveraging AI to document our Power Platform solutions. So kind of both sides of development of those Power Platform solutions. Looking for great sessions there. And then we've got Microsoft coming along, Sujya, who I've seen talk about Click to Copilot. It's a very good session. And hopefully it gets people excited about Copilot and SharePoint. As you know, I'm SharePoint through and through. This is me. If we've not met before, lovely to meet you. Glad you could join the user group. We are open to everybody, not just locally in Cambridge. We are entirely online, so anybody anywhere in the world can join us. I'm the CEO of my own business, Business Cloud Integration, and also Casper 365, who sponsor the event, hence all the sponsorship. And I'm also a Microsoft MVP and a Microsoft Regional Director in the UK. Again, lovely to meet you. If I haven't met you in person, that's bound to happen over the next 12 months as we attend events and get back to that in-person experience. But if not, ping me online. I always say yes to a coffee, whether it's a virtual coffee or a real life one. So look forward to meeting you at some point in the future. So it's not just me here today. We actually have some folks behind the scenes who make all of the magic happen. So Sancho is not online today, but is normally there as a moderator and is one of the co-leaders of the group. Sancho is also a business applications MVP, so I'm very interested in all things Power Platform. We have Luke Drew Mackay in the background there. Do you want to say hi, Luke?
Hey, folks.
Who is our technical mastery and moderator. Luke's there to make sure nothing goes wrong, to do all of the sound checks, and to make sure that all the speakers get exactly what they need during the event. Luke also prepares all of our content for YouTube afterwards. So thank you, Luke. Amber there, give us a quick wave, Amber. Amber and Smart also works for Casper 365 and is our event coordinator, doing all the coordination with the speakers, and we frankly couldn't be here without her. So thank you, Amber. So as always, bit of a do's and don'ts. Please be kind to everybody. If you're on chat, if you're giving messages or coming off mute to talk to our speakers, please be respectful. They've given up their time to come and share information with you today, and we thoroughly appreciate that. But please do be respectful of the speakers and any others in the chat. Any disagreements, can we please just park those and take those offline? We really hope that you respect the rules. Thanks very much. So, Renato, a little bit about you. It's a big bit about you, actually, on the slide here. But I always find it's most useful for you to introduce yourself. So I'm actually going to hand over to you at this point and allow you to grab the mic, take over the screen, and deliver your session, which is going to be transforming business operations with Copilot Studio and AI Builder.
Perfect. So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see that. Go ahead.
Perfect. So first of all, thanks for this opportunity. So it's a pleasure to me to share content about Copilot Studio and also OpenAI. So thanks for this opportunity. And also, if you have any questions during the session, you feel free to send me a message in the chat. And also, I'm following the chat here. And also, if you have any questions after this session as well, feel free to send me a message on LinkedIn or Instagram. I'm happy to help you on Copilot Studio and also AI. So the idea is to share some content about Copilot Studio and also integrate with OpenAI using Azure OpenAI service. And also I was planning to discuss about AI Builder as well, but so Douglas will share more content about AI Builder, automating different processes and also documentation as well. So I hope to cover the Copilot Studio and also OpenAI without impacting his session later. So first of all, let me present myself. So my name is Renato Romao. So I'm a Microsoft MVP as well on the business application category, sharing some content about Copilot Studio. And also I'm Copilot Studio super user in the Microsoft community, and also helping the users on the Microsoft community, and also sharing some content galleries, blog posts, and so on. So if you have any questions about Copilot Studio, feel free to send me a message on the community as well. So, and also there's a community that we are sharing different content there as well. And also there's a platform that we launched in May 2024. I'm sharing this content with Douglas about Microsoft Learn in general. So we are sharing some content about AI, and also how can we build different AI tools we using Copilot Studio and also AI Builder as well. So in this case, you can scan this QR code, and also you can open the platform, and also you can learn for free about these tools. If I'm not wrong, we have 5 or 6 courses available, and also the idea is to have at least one course per week. So I have over 4,000 students on the Udemy course as well, and also have a YouTube channel. Most of the content that I share is in Portuguese, but I'm trying to share some content in Spanish and also in English as well. So to start this session, the idea is to talk about Copilot Studio and also cover some topics that is really important when we are thinking about Copilot Studio and also AI. How can we design the best AI for our end users? How can we design a solution that is useful for not for the user but the business as well? So how can we automate different process? How can we automate process not only to get the information but to take some actions inside the organization, and also to automate process inside the business, and also be useful, use the AI to automate different process. So the idea is to cover who is your user, to identify the key user for your business and also for your AI tool. Understand the best practice available that we can think, and also it's really important when we are designing a Copilot Studio, and also not only a Copilot Studio but a Copilot in general. Terms to know that is really important when we are talking about AI, and also connectors available for Power Platform, because Copilot Studio is under the Power Platform solution, and also we have over 1,000 connectors, and also it's really important to know this information as well. And lastly, the idea is to have a demo showing the option to connect Copilot Studio with OpenAI, and also not only to demonstrate the way to connect both tools, but how can we build from scratch. So the idea is to show this information, connect to different things, and also to automate different processes by using Copilot Studio. So to identify your user, it's really important to start your development with Copilot Studio. It's really important to think about your end user, because when we are talking about the user, we need to design the solution for them, for the end user. If we are an IT person, or if we are a developer, sometimes we are losing we have a gap between the end user and also the developer, because we are developing things without thinking about the end user. Sometimes we are asking questions and also provide some information that is not useful for the end user. So always when we are building a product, or we are building a solution for as a software or a product, we always need to think about the user. Who is the end user? When we are thinking about the user, we need to design the solution for the channel that the user will use the Copilot, for example. So in this case, if most of the team are using Microsoft Teams or Zoom or Google Meet to do the things daily, we don't need to provide the Copilot Studio in a public website, or we don't need to provide the Copilot inside the SharePoint. we need to provide the solution inside the channel that is most useful for the user. So in this case, if we are building for different channels, probably we are expanding different license, and also we need to have different license without impacting the end user. And also probably it's affecting the user experience as well. So it's really important to think about the user and also the product that we are offering to the user, just to help them to use the system and also to have a good experience when we are using the system. The idea is for Copilot is just to help the user to automate the process and also to use the system to provide to get the information from the organization or to take some actions inside the organization, like request annual leave or get employee details, get invoice, or provide the invoice to the organization. Sometimes we can automate this process, but if we are not looking at the user experience, probably we have a problem because we are developing things without thinking about the user. Best practice. So understand your user. It's really important. Keep it simple and clear. Be inclusive. Use the right tools. For example, with Copilot Studio, we can deploy across multiple channels. We can deploy the Copilot Studio to Microsoft Teams, to WhatsApp, Facebook, Telegram, and so on. So if we are developing the tool, it's really important to know the channel that we need to use and also the tools that we need to integrate. Sometimes we have a database on Databricks, for example, or we have some files inside Azure Blob Storage, but sometimes it's not useful for the end user. Sometimes, oh, sorry. Sometimes we only need to automate the process using Microsoft Teams. Probably we need to get some information from SharePoint site or from a SharePoint list. Sometimes we don't need to automate the process using Power Automate. Probably we can do things by using formulas, using PowerFX, for example, and also automate the process inside Copilot Studio. So the best practice is always to think and design the solution using the right tools and also design the architecture first. So this process, it's really important when we are an IT person, because the IT person is always thinking about the architecture and also the tools that we need to use, the license and so on. But if you are a business user, probably you are thinking about the solution that you need to provide, and also not only the technology that we are using behind the scenes. So in this case, use the right tools is the best practice when we are developing a Copilot. Getting started right, so identify the requirements. It's really important when we are building the first Copilot and also when we are building a new product, because sometimes you don't need to build a Copilot. Sometimes you need to only automate the process using Power Automate. So if you have the requirements, you can match the requirements with your technologies plus your license available in the organization. Because sometimes the license that you're expanding inside the Copilot Studio, probably if you automate the process using Power Automate should be enough. Or if you build a Power Apps should be enough for your business. So in this case, it's important to design your solution even if you are building for your organization. So try to make a proposal, to design your requirements, to discuss with the IT people, to the IT team, and also to think about the solution in general, and then start the development. And then after deliver the software, deploy the things to production or to your client or to your business, track the information that the analytics by using the analytics panel. It's really important to get the information from the user perspective. Sometimes the chatbot, the Copilot Studio, it's failing when we are trying to escalate the information to a person and also to a team. So it's really important to look at the analytics panel and also to provide some information and some reports to your Copilot developer, because this information should be enough to provide a better experience for your end user. And then once you have your Copilot ready and working well, you can scale it up to different departments or different organization or different units for your company. Terms to know that's really important when we are building a Copilot. So we have Copilot that it's an AI assistant that we have an AI capability to provide some information and also to connect to different channels to get the information and also to take some actions. We have Gen AI that we basically, the idea is to provide some content based on the text or image or code. So the idea is to have an AI capability to provide more information than we have. So we have details about a contract or an invoice, but if you ask anything using Gen AI, the Gen AI, it's not only providing the information that we have on the document, but you can use an AI to produce different details and increment different information on the response. So we have large language models as well. So when we are thinking about an AI automation, or if we need to implement different documents, if you need to train the Copilot to have different documents, to read the documents using Azure Blob Storage, for example, probably you need to think about the LLM and also RAG and also GPTs, because probably you need to train the Copilot and also the AI to look at the documents using the right tool and also the right process, the right architecture, just to get the right information. Otherwise, we are failing to retrieve the information from the document or from the GPT. And also there is an option inside the Copilot Studio that you can use plugins, taking some actions. So for example, for AI Builder, you can connect your AI Builder solution using plugins, and basically you can connect an AI Builder GPT with prompts with different automations by using plugins, and basically you can connect different tools that is Microsoft or no Microsoft solution, and basically you can integrate with your Copilot. And also we have connectors available that we have over 1,000 connectors available inside Microsoft. Let me talk about connectors. So we have over 1,000 connectors available that you can use, not only Microsoft connectors, but Google, Adobe, Zendesk, and also much more available on the solution. So if you need to connect to your system as well, you have the opportunity to develop your custom connector and basically just pass the information, and then you'll be able to connect different things inside your Copilot as well. The end-to-end Copilot conversation. When we are building a Copilot dialogue, it's really important to design and also to think about the stage that we have available. Sometimes, as I mentioned before, sometimes you don't need to use OpenAI. Sometimes you don't need to escalate to different to a person. So in this case, the first level, the first stage, we have our Copilot Studio. Basically, we can use the topics available, the system topics and the custom topics available inside Copilot Studio, and basically we can use this first stage to build our Copilot and also to cover most scenarios available for our organization or for our clients. The second stage, we often use the second stage to implement the Gen AI and also to integrate with different plugins, different actions available with Microsoft and non-Microsoft solutions. So in this case, we can connect with GPT models. For example, if I'm using Azure OpenAI, I can use this GPT model. If I'm using a third-party system, I can connect as well. So for example, if I need to using OpenAI directly instead of using Azure OpenAI, I can do it as well. And basically, the second stage, basically the idea is to have an AI tool to generate different answers instead of using fixed information, hard-coded information that we have on the system. And the last one that is really important as well, when we are talking with the public, or if we need to escalate the information and also the questions and also answers that we have on the Copilot Studio conversation, probably we need to integrate with the option with omnichannel, for example, or live agent handoff. Probably in the future, we will have teams available on the escalation model. So the idea is to talk with people, so to escalate and also to provide the information with Copilot, Gen AI plus a person, a human talking behind the scenes. So we have 3 states. Probably you can resolve most of the scenarios by using the stage 2 and stage 1 as well. And also, just to your knowledge, the information about the architecture behind the scenes for Copilot Studio. So basically, you can have one Copilot with user topics, that is custom topics. You can have system topics that is provided by Microsoft. You can edit them, turn off them as well, but you cannot delete them. We have the conversation 3, and also basically you can have trigger phrases inside each conversation, each topic available. And also we can build entities, we can automate the process, we can connect with different actions, we can use Gen AI inside each conversation 3 as well. So this is the architecture. And the last one about the generative AI, basically Microsoft is providing conversation options to integrate different data sources available. So we are talking about Gen AI, but behind the scenes, Microsoft has changed the name inside the Copilot Studio. Right now it's called Knowledge Source. And basically with Knowledge Source, basically you can connect your public website, or if you have your documentation inside SharePoint or OneDrive, if you have different documents using blob storage, or if you have a Dataverse tables, you can connect as well. So for example, if you have a table using Excel, or if you have another table using SQL, so you have different options to connect and to provide a knowledge source, a knowledge base to your Copilot Studio. And basically with this knowledge, your Copilot will be able to provide more information, not only based on the information on the custom topics that you are providing some questions, some answers, and also some actions available in the Copilot Studio, but you can automate the process by using AI to get and to read the information inside different options. Let's move on to the demo. So feel free to send me a question on the chat if you have any questions, or open your microphone as well. So basically, let me open this. Let me go here. So basically, this is the Copilot Studio page. First of all, let me show you the different documentation options. Let me open the documentation. Let me search here, Copilot Studio Power Platform. Oh, sorry. Copilot Studio and also Power Platform license. So these first two information, it's really important when we are talking about Copilot Studio, because you need to think and also you need to design your solution based on information. Let me change the language here. And basically with the license overview for Power Platform, you can download this file. With this file, you'll be able to understand better about the license available for Copilot Studio. Let me wait a second. The internet connection. Let me check if I have the file on my side as well. If I'm not wrong, I have the license guide for May. Yeah, I have. Let me open this document here. So basically, with this document, you'll be able to read the information about Copilot Studio on page 18. So you can understand better about the capacity and also the pack that you are paying. So for each type of license. So the first type of license available is the Copilot Studio subscription, that you can pay $200 per tenant per month. It's not per user. So with this license, you'll be able to use Gen AI, deploy your Copilots across different channels, and also use everything available inside Copilot Studio, including WhatsApp, Telegram, and so on. So you can basically deploy and also using premium and custom connectors for Power Platform as well. This is really important because as I mentioned before, so for example, if you need to implement Copilot for Microsoft 365, for example, instead of paying two different types of license, probably you can have just one and cover your scenario. So that is the reason that it's really important to design, to design the architecture before starting developing the solution with Copilot Studio. The second license available is Copilot Studio with the Copilot for Microsoft 365 license. So with this license, you'll be able to use Copilot Studio as well, with some limitations sometimes to publish to your channel, to different channels, and so on. But in general, you'll be able to use Gen AI and also to have limited messages and also implement this information across your organization or your clients as well. And the last one, that is the reason to understand better about the architecture, because, for example, sometimes you don't need to implement the solution across multiple channels, or sometimes you don't need to use Gen AI. Sometimes you only need to provide a Copilot Studio using just a flow or just connecting with different plugins, different actions, and probably the Copilot for Studio for Teams should be enough using the Microsoft 365 or 365 license. So in this case, if you have Office 365 F1, if I'm not wrong, or F3, you'll be able to use Copilot Studio. So in this case, sometimes you don't need to pay a premium license because your solution could be covered by using another license. So take a look at this documentation on page 18 and 19, and also you'll be able to understand better about the cost of implementing this solution. And also, it's really important to understand better about the cost, because sometimes it's impacting your organization and also it's impacting your client. If you are starting developing and then look at the license later, because probably you need to design and also to think about the cost before implementing a solution internally. So this page is not opening, probably is my internet connection. Anyway, so basically, here is the Copilot Studio panel. So to use the Copilot Studio, basically you can open copilotstudio.microsoft.com. You'll be able to connect with your Microsoft 365 account. You can connect with your organization. If you don't have enough license, or if your organization has some limitations to use these tool, you can basically build your trial tenant to use this solution, and also you can have a Power Platform developer license. Basically, with this developer license, you'll be able to provide the Power Platform environment and also use different tools, including Copilot Studio. Basically, this is an existing chatbot, and basically, let me test my Copilot chatbot here. So it's a simple one, and basically I'm using AI and also Azure OpenAI behind the scenes to get some information, to provide some information using GPT-4. And also in this case, I can ask anything, what is Power Apps? And basically when we are sending a message to the Copilot Studio, basically the Copilot Studio is looking at the Azure OpenAI connection and getting the information by using this connection here. So as you can see here, we have the whole information available using AI. As you can see here, surfaced with Azure OpenAI. So what is automate? How can I implement it with Copilot Studio? And basically, I can ask different things by using AI to connect with my chatbot. And basically, as you can see here, there is a lot of information using AI, and also if we need to provide this Copilot for my end user, this should be enough to do everything. So in this case, I'm just using AI with Copilot, and basically I can publish this Copilot Studio on Teams or on Facebook or WhatsApp or my custom website or SharePoint site as well. So in this case, there's an option by using Copilot Studio with Azure OpenAI. The second option that we have available here, so let me show you. So this is another Copilot Studio, and basically I have a Copilot Studio to generate different documentation by generate documentation for my Power Automate workflows. For example, I'm a developer, Power Platform developer, and also I need to provide some documentation after the development process. So in this case, so often after each project that I'm building for my clients, I need to provide some documentation for the flows available inside the solution. So we can use Copilot Studio to document this process. So in this case, I can ask the Copilot to generate a documentation. So it's using AI to extract the information, but I want to be specific. So generate a documentation for flows. So in this case, my Copilot Studio will look internally, and also I'm asking a question about the environment. So are you looking at to generate documentation for a particular environment? No, the answer, and then I'm providing all environments available and also each flow name, the environment name, and also environment ID, flow name plus flow ID. The reason that I'm doing this is just to provide the user enough details, just the user look at the information that we have available for all flows available in the system and also for all environments. So in this case, I'm asking another question, provide the environment ID that you want to generate the documentation. So I'm pasting this ID here, and then I'm asking the flow ID information because I have a lot of one. For this environment, I have just one. I can automate the process. But if we have like 10 or 100 flows, probably we need to provide the ID or just name, just to combine environment ID with name with ID, a flow ID, and then I have the right flow to provide the documentation. And also I'm providing this ID here. And then the Copilot Studio is generating the documentation based on that specific flow. So in this case, here's the flow summary that I can see here, the flow name, flow ID, the type of flow, the current stage, the sharing type, and also I have the last modified time, the description about this workflow. Probably we need to implement, I need to improve. Sometimes I need to improve this information if I'm providing a documentation for this flow, because as you can see here, this flow is not explaining about the solution that I have. So it's just a simple description. So if I need to implement this on a document to share with my client, probably I need to improve this workflow. So it's really good. You can automate this process by improving this documentation, generate this documentation, and also you can include, you can modify the prompt that you are asking the Copilot Studio, like improve the flow description, and also recommend some best practice for me using this flow schema or something like that. So as you can see here, we can see the trigger and also the type of the trigger that we have, the connector. In this case, I'm using virtual agent, that is Copilot Studio. I have the schema here. I can ignore this information if I don't need to store this information for my clients, and also the actions available inside my workflow. So as you can see here, I have the response and also the ID behind the scenes. I have the HTTP. So this is a simple workflow providing the flow documentation. This is a simple AI providing the flow documentation, but I can have different ways, and also I can modify the automation, the prompt to generate the best practice for my clients. So if I have a template by providing the flow summary, the author, and also the connectors available, plus the actions that we have inside this workflow, I can provide this template as a prompt, as a assistant prompt to my Copilot Studio, and then I have the answer by using that specific prompt. So in this case, I'm not providing this information. I'm just asking the Copilot Studio to generate the documentation. But if you do that, probably you have best response from the AI. So as you can see here, I have some recommendations. Ensure all connections and permissions are properly configured. Monitor flow runs for errors. Document each action in detail. Consider security implementations. So as you can see here, we have a lot of recommendations, and probably I can document this information internally and probably provide it to my client, and the client can maintain this workflow available in the system. So this is a simple one. Let me show you how can I do that. So first of all, let me start by building a Copilot Studio from scratch. So I can build a Copilot by using different templates, as you can see here. Start operations, sustainability, insights, safe travels, and so on. But I can start from scratch. I can use Cambridge, Power Platform, user group. I can change the description. These instructions will be able to provide an AI prompt for my AI tool. I can change the language as well. So the primary language. So later you can increment different languages available, but the primary will be always this one. I can add a knowledge source, but in this case, I will skip this information right now, and then we will include the knowledge source later. So let me do another thing. Why we have Microsoft Learn, Copilot Studio. So we have the Microsoft Learn documentation. Let me copy this link here. Let me go back to the Copilot. So we already have this Copilot ready. So as you can see here, so this Copilot Studio, I can ask anything about this Copilot Studio, like what is perhaps. So as you can see, we already have an AI tool behind the scenes, a Gen AI answer by default provided by Microsoft. So as you can see here, I just create this workflow. But if I want to implement a knowledge source behind the scenes, I can open this tab here, knowledge, and also I can include the knowledge source for my Copilot. So as you can see here, we have different options, different actions, like I can provide a public website. As you can see, I have copied this public website this inside Microsoft Learn. I can provide as a public website. I can upload the file. For example, I have this file about licenses. So I can provide this file to my Copilot, and then I will be able to ask anything about Power Platform license. And also if I have a PDF document about the invoices or about projects or something like that, basically I can upload locally those files into my Copilot as a knowledge source as well. SharePoint site, OneDrive, Dataverse. So if we have data tables, you can just connect the data tables using Dataverse as well. Enterprise websites. So as you can see here, we have a lot of actions and options available. Microsoft is working to provide more details, like Microsoft Fabric will be able to connect soon. And also we have custom connector if you have your own database. So in this case, as you can see, we can just plug and play and quickly different data sources. So I will paste this link here. Using my Copilot Studio, basically I can include this public website. And this public website is ready. So any questions about Microsoft Copilot Studio, I can do that. So for example, How can I build Copilot Studio for Teams? So basically, my Copilot Studio will use this documentation to provide answers and also the references. So as you can see here, if I click the reference, I will be able to see the right panel and also to understand better about Copilot Studio and how can I integrate with Microsoft Teams. So this is really quick. And also, as you can see here, the second link, add the Copilot to Microsoft Teams. So always using the link that I have provided to my knowledge source. So I don't need to train the Copilot. I don't need to touch the language large models or something like that. I just plug and play and just connect my knowledge, and then I'll be able to understand better about Copilot. Renato, how can I build different data sets? How can I manage this information internally? So we always have topics. So inside the topics, we have custom topics and also system topics. By default, AI tool is always using conversational boosting. And also inside this topic, we'll be able to track all details that is not covered by all the other topics. So in this case, if the Copilot is not understanding or not finding anything about your question inside the topics, we are using this one. And also by default, we are create generative AI by using the last message using the data source available. If you press edit, you'll be able to select the knowledge source that you want to do. So in this case, you can select different data sources. So as you can see here, we are searching across everything available on the knowledge source. But if you have multiple data sources, and also if you need to search only for inside the Microsoft Learn for Copilot Studio, for example, you can select just this one. Or if you want to ignore this one because it's not useful for you right now, and also you need to look at the PDF document, probably you can include another one, upload your file, and then the Copilot Studio will look at the PDF only. And also you can manage the content moderation. So this information is really important when we have a lot of links and also a lot of PDF documents, and also if we have dataverse tables, because sometimes we have no filter. Basically, we are asking anything to Copilot, and basically Copilot is not, it's getting everything and provide everything, combining everything, and also share it with your end user. So in this case, if you need to set the content moderation, you can set to high, and then you'll be able to see the right information, the right data, and not only getting all information across multiple channels. And also, it's really important when we are talking about security. For example, this is a public website, but if you have a SharePoint site, and also you need to provide only the files, only the information inside the files or dataverse tables that your user has enough access. So in this case, when we are adding a knowledge and also like SharePoint, Dataverse, that we have a private connection, so we always using the end user configuration. So in this case, if the user don't have enough access to the SharePoint site or to the file inside the folder that we have on the SharePoint site, basically the Copilot Studio will ignore this information, because basically we are looking at the security first. If it's a public website, basically the Copilot Studio is ignoring this information. But if we have a public website, basically we are looking at the right user, the current user, and then we are moving to the second stage that the user has enough access to the file, and then we are providing information. Otherwise, it's just ignoring the information as well. So you can customize your prompt as well. So for example, if you need to customize, if you need to combine the prompt that you have, the information that you are asking to our end user. For example, In this case, I'm just asking anything here, and also we are connecting to Gen AI. But if I need to ask like provide the Power Platform environment ID or flow ID or something like that, probably you can combine with your prompt. So in this case, you can provide like, if you need to use Gen AI to provide your documentation, you can provide a prompt like, provide a flow as a Power Automate specialist, provide flow documentation with trigger actions and flow details using this flow schema. And then you can just connect your environment here. So environment variable. So if you have environment variable with your flow schema provided before, and also if you already have this information, basically you can combine. And it's really important to look at the characters that you are passing to your prompt. If you are exceeding 2000, probably it will fail when we are using Copilot Studio. And then you probably need to automate this process by using Power Automate Flow instead of using all this tool inside this Copilot Studio. But there is an option that you can pass different actions and also provide an information as a prompt before asking anything inside Copilot, inside OpenAI. And also, we have classic data. So if we have your public website, you can paste the public website quickly here instead of adding a knowledge source. Basically, you can provide as a public website here. Or if you have a SharePoint link, you can just paste the SharePoint link as well. Connect this information here. When we are connecting to the SharePoint site or Dataverse or something like that, probably we need to look at the security instead of just connecting things. Look at the settings later and check if you have the enough security information before asking details inside SharePoint. Otherwise, it will fail. And the last one is just an AI Azure OpenAI Service connection. So I will show this information later, not inside this Copilot Studio. So basically that's it. There is an option to automate the process by using this tool. You can just save this information if you need to edit or if you need to improve the content moderation or something like that. And then, as I mentioned, so if you have this, if you are using a private channel, so it's really important to look at the authentication and to check if you have enough access or use Azure App Registration. So in this case, we have enough details. You can look at the Microsoft documentation to understand the authentication and also the authorization available with Microsoft tools and non-Microsoft tools as well. So if you need to configure, probably it's really important to look at this information before sharing the Copilot with your end user as well. So we have Gen AI configuration as well. So by default, it's always using the high content as the high option as a content moderation, but you can change this information if you need as well. We have AI tools, so let me go back here. AI tools integration, so we can connect with cognitive services, Azure OpenAI, so we have more documentations if you need to look at the information as well. So let me close this one. Let me go back to the channels. So then I'll be able to, now, after configuring everything, I want to publish this Copilot. So basically, I have all channels available. So as you can see, I can't publish it across multiple channels because I don't have enough license to do that in that specific environment with that specific account. But so if you have enough license, basically you can just press publish. And also we have different details per channel. and then you can turn the tool on, and then set up the things available for each channel that you have. If you want to use AI Builder, for example, you can create your action here, and also you'll be able to connect to different tools, automate different process, and also these actions, it's really useful when we are building Copilot Studio. And also it's really important when we are building a Copilot Studio, is that sometimes we are building a Copilot Studio that could be a product. So if you are building a Copilot Studio, sometimes you can basically escalate this Copilot across different clients. So I have a client that is using the same Power Platform solution. So I have one Power Platform solution as a product, and basically we are sharing across 9 different clients. So the way that we are doing this is because basically we are managing the application lifecycle management. So we need to think about the architecture. Otherwise, we can't do that. We can't escalate to different clients. We can't use one product across different clients and receiving the support and providing the support to different clients and providing the same solution across different clients with their own configuration. So think about it because it's really important. And the last configuration that I want to show you is because, for example, sometimes we need to escalate this by using not only the information available on the Power Platform, but sometimes we need to escalate it by using Azure OpenAI Service. Azure OpenAI Service, basically you can use this link here. So you can open Azure OpenAI.ai.azure.com, and basically you'll be able to open the Azure OpenAI Studio that you can have different deployments. So as you can see here, I have GPT 3.5 and also GPT 4. In this case, I can create a new deployment process. In this case, we have a different cost when we are using Azure OpenAI because we are using this information inside Azure. But if you have a startup, basically you can use Microsoft Founders, for example, to do that. And also we have some credits available for startups. And also you can start by building a new Copilot Studio and then integrate with Azure OpenAI and then escalate this information quickly. Basically, this is behind the scenes, Copilot Studio is using Azure OpenAI. And also if I ask anything here, so what is Perhaps? So basically, we have the answer provided quickly. So as you can see here, this is the same tool that we have inside Copilot Studio. But the difference is sometimes we can connect both tools to have a powerful Copilot. Not only a Copilot to provide different information, but we want to share different details with AI. So in this case, if I view code here, I will be able to integrate with bypassing the endpoint, the API key, and also different bypassing the message, the content that we have, the question that the user is providing, and so on. So in this case, if I look at the flow documentation generator, so let me go to the topics. So I have a custom topic called generate documentation for Power Automate flows. And then I'm asking about the environment. So would you like to generate the documentation to a specific environment or something like that? And basically, I have a flow. Let me open this flow here. The first flow is just to provide the list of flows to a specific environment. So let me open this one. I was testing this morning just to ensure that it's working well before the demo time, because the demo time is always failing. Let me go back to the previous one. So basically, as you can see here, I have a flow, and basically inside the flow, I'm generating, I'm listing my environments. So as you can see here, this is my environments available with this account, and then the list flows as admin by passing the environment ID, and basically I have all flows available for each environment, and then I'm adding this information inside the variable. As you can see here, I have different flows with different IDs, and then I'm combining the information to share with the Copilot Studio and also to have this information ready quickly. So that is the reason that we have a lot of information and a lot of flows and also environments available here. And then I have another flow that we are passing the flow ID and also the environment ID, and basically to generate a documentation based on the existing flow schema. The reason that I'm passing flow ID is because behind the scenes, each flow has their own schema. The schema is the structure behind the scenes for each flow. So in this case, with the schema, we can understand better about the trigger, the flow name, the flow details, actions, trigger, and so on. So as you can see here, get flow as admin. So I'm passing the environment and also the flow ID, and then I'll be able to get everything about this flow. The flow name, the flow display name, the state, the details, the actions, the triggers available, and also basically I'm passing this information to Azure OpenAI. And basically, as you can see here, so as you can see here, basically I'm passing this information to Azure OpenAI, and then I'm passing the tokens and so on. And also the answer is the choices. I have the choices here with the information and the message based on the provided schema, the flow name, and the information available for this flow here. So this is one option available that we can use. We can integrate and also generate the documentation based on existing flow. And also we can do it for Power Apps, for Power Pages. We can do it for web resources. We can do it for everything that we have available inside the Power Platform as well. So that's it. Any questions?
We don't have any questions in the chat, but that was absolutely fascinating. Could not stop watching. I kind of hadn't thought of doing it that way, so it was really great to see, and especially with the walkthrough and every single step of the way. So really appreciate your time to show us and walk us through that. It's really great. I think actually we're at time, so if it's okay with you, we'll switch over to part 2. Okay, so I think that's the end of the session today. Just a couple more bits. Let me present that to you in Teams. Scooch to the end. It doesn't want to let me start in a certain place. Just a couple more bits I wanted to mention to everybody while we've got you online. It's just a couple of upcoming events. There is another user group. It's actually the Malta user group coming up in July, which is always a good one. But I really wanted to emphasize Metaverse One. It's an event that I'm personally involved with and will be one of the track moderators that come along. There'll be a Power Platform track. We've got lots of great speakers coming up on that one. So do just go to Google and look for Metaverse One. It's going to be a fantastic event this September, and hopefully I'll see some of you there. Just finally, all of the recordings from today will be available on my YouTube channel. The address is here, but we always post in links back to the presenters and how you can get to their LinkedIn, X, and all of the profile stuff. And so you can ask questions directly to those speakers if you've got some follow-up to the stuff that we presented for you today. But again, thank you so much for coming along today. It's been absolutely brilliant. 3 jam-packed sessions, super useful content, and really up to date. So far up to date, in fact, we've been looking into the future with the Microsoft SharePoint functionality. So thank you again for coming along. I'm going to close today's session, and you'll see us online on YouTube shortly. Thanks very much for your time, everybody.